Hello everyone! I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you're in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate your support. And in this one, I wanted to speak a little bit about money and finances, a little bit of a different topic because I'm releasing a new book on personal finance, and so I wanted to speak a little bit about it because it's on top of my mind. Ever since I've been interested in money for a long time. Obviously, my parents taught me to save, and they saved themselves, but they worked really hard. But it seemed like we were always complaining about money. There was never enough money, even though we didn't spend that much money on random things. It was just basics. And also, they invested into different things, but even so, we were always still destitute. We were always still complaining about money. We did a lot of things, but we also never had enough. It was all of these contradictions in my life that kind of got me thinking, what is exactly this thing called money, and why are we constantly worried about it? And why are we constantly talking about it but never having enough of it? What is this going on thing where we work very hard all of our lives and we never have enough money? All of the people that probably worked all of their lives, 40, 50 years, and still have nothing to show for it. What is going on exactly with this thing called money? So I researched, I read a lot of books on it. I've constantly been reading books since I was 21, 22 about money, about lots of different things related to money, about money demons, things like that. And the more I learned, the more I realized that a lot of money has to do with mindset. It has to do with your subconscious. It has to do with the demons that you have, the shadows. A lot of the outwardly things that we show about money are really just the tip of the iceberg, right? And I started getting into investing. I started learning about which companies are good, which companies aren't, what kind of investments do I like, what kind of investor do I want to become, and what do I want my money to do for me, and things like that. And all of that resulted in the idea, or in the situation where at 38 I was able to say that I am semi-retired. I was able to work part-time, not work 8 hours a day or whatever that people do, 40 hours a week or more. I work maybe an hour, 2 hours a week, 2 hours a day, and eventually I'm going to cut that down even more. And that all of that resulted in conversations with people, because obviously people are like, well, you don't seem to do a lot of work, but you're constantly traveling all over the place. How do you make this money? What's going on with you? Do your parents pay for it? And the constant assumption that most people have is that, someone must be supporting you. You must have a sugar daddy, or you must have your parents supporting you, things like that. The idea that a woman can be self-sufficient and independent financially on her own is ridiculous to most people. I just find it very fascinating. Also, obviously, when I moved to India, or to Asian countries in general, Asia, in Indonesia, Bali, Thailand, Bangkok, and Mumbai, India. So in these Asian countries, where the patriarchy is very strong and wants to suppress women and wants to ensure that women do not get ahead, the main way to do it is to keep them financially disempowered, right? To ensure that they don't have any control or access to money, to ensure that they do have any access to money, that they're earning much less than the men in their families or in the vicinity are. And if they are earning a lot, to make sure that they have no idea what to do with that money except to spend it. And so I write about this in my book. I've written a book, personal finance book, particularly for women, because of this issue where women know how to make money. They in fact make lots and lots of money. They know how to spend money. In fact, they spend lots and lots of it on lots of random things. Men actually have fewer desires in general, in terms of there are not as many clothes that they could buy or shoes that they can buy. The combinations and permutations are not as varied for a man as they are for a woman. Women have many more things they can spend their money on, many more things they can do to their bodies, and many more things that, in terms of accessories and adjuncts, add-ons that they can purchase than a man can. And so there's lots of things that women know how to do in relation to money, which is to make it and then to spend it, but they do not know how to make sure that their money lasts in their lifetime, to save it, to invest it, to ensure that they use this piece of paper, whatever color it is, green or whatever, to give them the financial freedom, to give them that life that they are looking for, the ideal life, the life where they're free, where they're not answering to anyone, where they're not beholden to anyone, where they're not controlled by anyone. That kind of life comes through power, and power comes through money, at least in this capitalist society that we live in. Yes, some women are using their beauty in order to get that power, but they're using their beauty to get money, which gives them power, right? Gives them status, which gives them power. So essentially, in our world right now, you get power, you get status, you get freedom through money. Whatever world we will live in the future, it does not matter. In the present moment in time, no matter if you like capitalism, you don't like capitalism, it doesn't matter. It is the source of power for you is money, right? So money is what gives you that source of freedom, source of power. But if you do not know how to save or invest it, particularly invest it so that it grows and becomes that source of abundant power, then you're basically just going to tread water for the rest of your life, which is what most people are doing, right? Particularly women. So because what happens in a lot of cases, I'm not saying all, but in a lot of cases, women are not taught anything about money. They are not taught how to save it. They're not taught how to invest it. They're taught how to make money sometimes in certain cultures. In India, a lot of women are not even taught that. They're not taught how to make money. They have no idea. They're not even handling the money in most cases. The men are taking care of all the expenses, that they're taking care of all the payments, they're taking care of all the money issues. The women have no idea what's going on with the money. They're staying at home and taking care of the house, the kids, and all that stuff, right? And so that delineation is very clear, where the woman has no idea what money is all about even. They have no idea how much money the house even has. The husband might sometimes scold them for spending too much money on this or that, perhaps, but they have no idea because they've never been told how much money the house has. The husband might be telling them that they don't have enough money. Is that really the truth? She has no idea. She's never even looked at the bank accounts. She has no access to them. Of course, that is an extreme scenario. Most people kind of, if you're talking about America or North America, Australia, most people fall in the middle somewhere, right? Like, well, most women fall in the middle where they have access to money. They perhaps earn their own money. They have a job where they earn very good money, perhaps even. But then what do they do with that money? They have no idea what to do with that money. A lot of my girlfriends tell me they earn six-figure incomes. That's awesome. Good for them. But they will tell me directly and honestly that they don't know what to do with their money. And so all of it goes into a joint account where the husband or the partner or the man in the family mostly takes care of all of the money. He's the one who invests. He's the one who figures out which credit cards to use. He's the one who buys the flights. He's the one who does all of that. She does all the planning, the internal planning of the house, the household stuff, and he takes care of that. And then she obviously says, well, I have no idea what to do about money. Yeah, well, you don't know how to do anything with money because you've never been taught. You've never taken the initiative either to say, hey, well, it's great that my husband's taking care of all this money stuff. Awesome. I'm very happy about that. But how about I kind of pitch in a little bit as well so I know what's going on? And then the scenario obviously happens in a lot of cases where the women, and there's a lot of TikTok videos about this, trad wives, where they've never paid attention to a single penny inlet, outlet. They have no idea what's going on with their money. And then one day out of the blue, the man divorces them or separates from them, and suddenly they realize that they have zero skills in order to take care of themselves. They don't know how to make money. They don't know anything about how money even exists or works or functions, except how to spend it. And suddenly they're just left destitute. They have no idea. They can't even earn any money to support themselves, and obviously the husbands are not there to support them either. And their kids are all gone as well if they're all married or are in school or whatever it might be. And suddenly they're having to go back to McDonald's or working at Walmart or things like that in order to take care of themselves, right? Like, this kind of scenario should not even happen. If you have been living in a household where your husband has control of all of the money, you should really be rethinking about the whole situation. You are thinking, well, we love each other. We're going to be together for a long time. I hope so. I really hope so. But in 50, 60, 70% of the cases, it does not happen that way. And things do change. And so it is very important that if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, make sure that you know what's going on with your money. It is your money as well. Even if your husband's the breadwinner of the family, you have been putting in countless hours in the house taking care of things so he doesn't have to worry about it. You have been putting in your time. You have been working as well. It is your money as well. You should know what is going on with it, right? And so, of course, all of this stuff came through even more so when I was in India, because a lot of women here, they don't. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So mostly when I'm at a street stall, these street stalls, these food stalls where you're standing and eating, you'll get a snack, or they'll cut fruit for you and they'll put it on a plate and give it to you, things like that. Like it's the way it is in India. If you've gone to Asia, there are places where you can go and you grab this, you can grab like bread and omelet, or you can grab this on the street, right? I'm just talking about street stalls, not as restaurants, street stalls. And so you go to the street stalls, and often when I am at these street stalls, I am the only woman standing there eating. If a woman does come, she's usually with her husband or her boyfriend or her partner. And if two women come together, it's usually because they're in a group of people, women, men together, they're in a class, they're coming together as a group to eat. A single woman by herself eating at these stalls is absolutely unheard of. At least when I've been, and I've gone to a lot of stalls. It's always just me and a bunch of men standing around. And I used to wonder about that. I'm like, why don't women eat at these stalls? Is the food not good quality? But the quality for me seemed really good. It's delicious food. And I do see sometimes women coming and eating. So obviously they do enjoy the food. What is going on? And then I realized it's all about access to money. A lot of these women do not have access to money, to cash, that they can use to go to a stall and say, hey, I want to buy a bread omelet for myself, or I want to buy a tea for myself, or whatever it might be. They might have 10, 15, 20 rupees here and there lying around, but they do not have access to mounds and mounds of cash that you need in order to live in an expensive city like Mumbai, right? Even the person who cleans my house, she's a woman, and she would tell me, please transfer the money, please do not transfer money to me, because it goes to a joint account that my husband sees, or basically his account, so he can see what money I get. Give me cash, so I have even some little amount of money to my name and I can use it for whatever I want, because she has no access to her own cash. Even if she works, all of it goes to her husband and to her husband's family, to the in-laws, to taking care of the house. She does not get to keep any of it, right? So all of this obviously brought all of this conversation and thoughts into my head, and I wanted to write a book about it, and I wrote a book about it. The link is in the description below. If you'd like to check it out, you can check it out. Please leave a review if you like it. Of course, I'm really grateful that you've been listening to me and supporting me in so many different ways. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your conversations, your opinions about money and women and access to money and the patriarchy and all that. I love this topic. I love talking about it. And so I'm really grateful. Again, thank you so much for being on my channel, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.